Well, thank you everyone who is joining today. My name is Emily with Minnesota Valley Action Council. Our guest speaker today is Amy with a fresh start. Somebody from this group had said, "Hey, I'd love to learn more about a fresh start. Can you reach out to them?" So that's how that came to be. We will just do a presentation. We'll go into questions and then roundtable if anyone has agency updates or program updates to share, and any questions after that. Amy, you're welcome to take it away.
Great. And how long did you want me to? I just want to keep it in mind.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, we're pretty flexible. Usually I say anywhere from 20 minutes to 30 minutes to talk and do questions, but really, if you go over that or under that, that's just fine.
Okay. Well, I will be good. I will be good and try to keep us moving along. Does anybody have any questions up front that they want to make sure that I address? Okay. All right. If you're from the 1980s, you know that in my head I was saying Bueller, Bueller. Anybody know the reference? Anyone?
Ferris Bueller,
Thank you.
but
Thank you, Kate. Come
but I
on.
haven't seen the movie.
Oh,
But when you said Bueller, I'm assuming.
yeah. Well, you just lost street cred there. But by the way, Kate is my cousin. In case people didn't know. So I'll probably be meaner to her today than others. So my name is Amy Klugherz. I am a native of Mankato. I moved back here in 2007 to care for my mother who had dementia. And prior to moving back, I led organizations that helped people find jobs, and I have a law degree, so I do practice law. And I also continue to coach and consult with hiring, retention, team building, and those types of things. So I had, starting from the beginning, I started a fresh start in 2020, and it was came from a dream I'd had for about 25 years, probably, from when I was running an organization in the Twin Cities, and we donated some money to the crisis nursery. At that time, it was in Golden Valley. I believe they still have that location. And that we got to go visit it. And I remember thinking they had this room that the kids could go into and get things to help them with their transition. So they got clean pajamas and they got toys, and it was really a great location so the kids could feel comfortable. And that really hit me. And for some reason, I never let it go. And then I moved to Mankato. And although I had not been impacted by homelessness, I realized I had a heart for it. So when it was super cold or super hot, I would be saying little prayers for people who are homeless and having to deal with those conditions. And all of a sudden, those two things came together. And I had the idea I was just going to do this little project. I called it the Homeless Project because I was creative. And that was in like 2019, 2020. No, it was during 2020, during COVID. And so just from my countertop in my home, I put out some Facebook posts and told people I wanted to give things to people who are in shelter. I had volunteered at homeless shelters before. I had volunteered more recently at the Connections Ministry in Mankato. And what I had noticed there was that people were wearing the same socks in their boots, trying to keep warm, that they walked around the shelter in, and they'd have their pajama bottoms on under their jeans or whatever to try to keep warm during the day. And then they would wear those pajama bottoms and those socks into their bed. And they just seemed like some women had the ability to go and get their nails done or found a way to get their nails done. But otherwise, there just didn't seem to be a differentiation of their day. And they didn't seem to have things that really said they were making a fresh start, that they could be proud, and they had the humanity of it all, I guess. And there was a time where I was working at a shelter, and there was candy for the kids. And I found out the candy had been found through dumpster diving, which people don't have a problem with dumpster diving. I don't have a problem with it, but the idea of it, the emotional and kind of language of that, of giving treats from a dumpster to these children really impacted me of how are we setting them up for seeing that they are, oh, sorry. Stop. I said there was about a 2% chance we'd get through this without barking. Hey, stop. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
So it really impacted me because I think the emotional is so important. So I decided to start this little project. And so it was just a little dream of mine. And then the following, and we had some bumps along the road. But in the end, the following summer, I went and met with Partners for Housing because I had been helping their shelters. And in that conversation, they said they were giving up, they had to give up the what they called the store. And I thought, well, we can do that. That's not a big deal. And so I was wrong. And so we took over that need from them of doing the store, and we redid it on how we envisioned it. And then since then, so since 2020 and 2021, as we started to help people emerging from homelessness, we have gone from helping, maybe 4 families a month to now we help 11 or more per month. We went from my friends and family from as far as California, people who had never been in Mankato, from them helping financially and me putting in a significant amount of money. We have now gone to having a very strong donor base and volunteer base. I have said many times we would not have survived 2020 to 2022 if it weren't for the fact I have 54 first cousins and a large circle of friends who can use Amazon. But we really have grown now to be an established organization. We're a 501c3. We have a wonderful volunteer network. We have a wonderful, and I'll talk to you more about where people are really making a difference for us later on, but really grown a lot. And so right now where we're at is we're really establishing all of the background to allow for that growth and to continue to grow with the need. And then we have all kinds of dreams going forward. So that's the background of a fresh start. You can interrupt me at any point. So we try to provide a fresh start to those who are impacted by homelessness. We do that by doing a combination of things, not only providing the resources they need, but also bringing humanity into the process of getting them and partnering with us. So we have 3 ways that we serve. We do new guest essentials, where we'll help people in shelter to get some of those fundamental things to help them feel more comfortable. Everything is new that is given out during new guest essentials. And we have every size from preemie to 3X, sometimes 4XL in both genders. And they get to choose what they want. So if they want facial masks, the fun kind, not the COVID kind, or nail polish or whatever, they get to choose that. The next thing we do, which is 95%, maybe 98% of what we do, is new home essentials. And we changed, so from the store that Partners for Housing had to what we do, a few things are different. One, and Partners for Housing did a great job, and I do not dismiss what they did at all or diminish the impact they had. We just do things a little bit differently. One of those is we turn away a lot of donations. If it won't go in my house, it's not going to go into somebody else's house. We will take some stuff that's a little beat up, and we will have one of our volunteers repurpose it or paint it, upcycle it. But we do require it to be something that we would take, and we try to cute it up as much as possible. We will use used beds, but they have to have no stains and no tears. We do everything from a pizza cutter to beds. And our idea is we tier our new home essentials into 3 tiers. We have the stuff that we consider essential, not essential like you'll be able to live, but essential as though you will be able to get a fresh start. We think it is difficult to feel confident and comfortable and in charge of your household if you don't have garbage bags. And so you're throwing trash into shopping bags all the time, or you just don't have a place to take it. Or if you don't have way, permanent dishes to put food into. We just don't think you can really parent completely, and also yourself prepare for your day if you don't have those kind of fundamental tier 1 things that we think makes life a little bit easier and makes things seem as normal and positive as possible. We do make some choices. For example, we don't always give out bath mats because you can use a towel, but we don't give out mops right now. But we do, because you can use a bucket and cleaning rags. We provide new cleaning rags. But we do a full-size broom and dustpan. And we give also so that's the first tier. So fundamental things: beds, towels, hot pads, pans, pots, glasses, coffee cups. All those things are considered tier 1, things that allow you to live as fundamentally a normal life as you can. And then we have tier 2, which are the things that are aspirational for us, things we would like to give them, but we don't always have the money to buy, or they're not being donated, but we think they're nice things to have, such as like a coffee pot, a toaster, trying to think of some of the other things, a shampoo and conditioner. Now everybody needs shampoo and conditioner, but they don't necessarily need to get it from us. There's other places that may have those. So those are tier 2. And then we have what we call tier 3, which is actually evolving to being called a housewarming package. And that is stuff that it's just really nice to give someone who is going through a home transition. This is for all of us. That first day, you can't always find paper towels in what you have. You can't always find toilet paper, a baggie, that kind of stuff. So we try to provide, and we're working to have this be for everyone, that they get some of those fundamental things to help them through those first few days. My goal is that ultimately we'll even give them a gift card for pizza or Chinese food or something to get through that first night. Because I've had to personally buy, I haven't had to, I have had pizza delivered to families that their food stamps weren't coming in, or their SNAP benefits weren't coming in until Monday. I've had Pizza Ranch deliver, or I've gone to Quick Trip and got them some fundamentals to get them through the weekend. And then the third program, which has not gotten a lot of traction, but we're hoping to see more opportunities here, is a Solid Start, which is being angel benefactors in the background. We don't want to be seen. We don't want anyone to know. We're fine if the youth doesn't know, that would be great. But if they have something that is not, if they have an absence of something that is stopping them from fully participating in school or in after-school activities, we would like to take care of that. So it can be anything from they don't have cold weather gear, so they can't go out on the playground, or if they don't have the money to be able to eat from the snack bar at the science museum when their class goes up, or whatever it is that the teachers or some members of the school community feel is necessary or is missing, and that child will not be able to participate. It can be school fees or getting them the equipment for particular activities. Any questions about those different programs we have?
I have a question. Does a vacuum fall under tier 1?
Oh, vacuum doesn't, and we need them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tier 2, mostly because we have not developed a relation. Well, they're expensive. I think the cheapest I've ever gotten is like $70, and I've spent it before we tiered our materials, but we don't have a good enough relationship yet with a vacuum fixing company. So yes, we love vacuums. Love vacuums.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else?
If people have, and you might cover this, but if people have stuff that they could potentially donate, how would they go about that?
Yeah, so I will talk a little bit about that later, but just for now, so you know that we are all by volunteer. Everything we do is through volunteers, including myself. And so what we've done is we try to organize our time so that we're being more efficient. So Tuesdays from 10 to noon, things can be dropped off. and Thursdays from 4 to 6. And then we usually are doing moves on Saturdays or Sundays every other weekend. And we post those on our Facebook page. They can come during our move prep. Otherwise, they can just contact me and I'll do everything I can to try to accommodate their schedules. We also, we prefer, as everyone would, that things get dropped off to us. We are up at the storage lounge up by Menards and the Paw. They have treated us so well. And so we're up there. It's still more cost effective than having a brick and mortar location. And so we're up there, so it's pretty easy to get to. But if someone can't drop things off, we do ask for a goodwill donation of, if you're in Mankato, North Mankato, $30. And if you're outside of there, 60. If you're, super far away, we most likely aren't going to come and pick up, or we're going to ask you for more than $60. And we really have found that has made a huge difference in asking for that. So shockingly, people who say they don't have a truck, all of a sudden have a truck. But then people who are really not able to drop it off are very willing to pay the money. So yeah, that's how you do it. But then you can contact me and I'll get it done otherwise.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So how we find our clients, we have a 3-part process to becoming a client of a Fresh Start. And it starts with how we find our clients. It is through referral by what we call partner organizations. Partner organization does not mean that there's any sort of fee or that there's any sort of approval process for those organizations. What we ask is that to be a partner organization, basically you have to be someone who serves the same people we want to serve. That's it. I just, right now the Salvation Army is referring people to us because of that fire on Fowl Street, but we'd never worked with them before and it was really smooth. They just said, hey, we have some people, and we said, okay, then send them to us. And then they did the referral forms and that was it. We want to put as few barriers as possible up between us and organizations in order to help people. So we will, that's what happens. So you do a very short referral form. There's a link that we provide and then you just fill that out. Then we ask that either you on behalf of your client or your client directly fills out an online registration form. A lot of that, part of it is the logistics of where we're going to and what does that look like. 3rd floor, no elevator, et cetera, just knowing those things. But the other thing it does is it gives us the demographic information that will allow us to move into our next phase of financial fundraising, which will involve grant writing. So they do that, and then they get a call, and we do an intake. So one of our volunteers will contact them and do an intake. This part of the intake, we really do get down to the nitty-gritty of when are you actually available. We ask for 2-hour windows of time because I always underestimate how long it takes to prep a move. I'm notorious for it. And so we try to get a 2-hour window. Kate can attest to this. Her poor son has had to deal with it. Kate's son, Nathan, has been our #1 muscle. And he puts everything onto the trucks and the trailers and make sure we don't lose him, because I lose things on the side of the road. And he's kind of our safety guy. And so anyway, but he puts up with my really bad sense of time all the time. So we get that kind of information. And this is really a big change for us. We just started doing this in February. When I first started the program, I wanted to leave as much anonymity available to our clients as possible, because there's studies about the erosion of their self-esteem from having to tell their story over and over again and feel like they're kind of begging. And I didn't want that. I wanted anything but that. So originally when we started the program, we tried to make it where they just filled out a form and they really didn't have to see us until we dropped stuff off, and that was it. And what we found is we weren't getting the buy-in from the clients to help us unload. We weren't getting the buy-in from them to be respectful of our time and their time and make sure that we connected. And we weren't really building that rapport that was necessary actually to build humanity into what we were doing. And so instead of getting more repressive rules saying, if you don't show one time, we're not going to give you anything. And we do have that policy. If somebody stands us up, and they know we're coming and it's in that 2-hour window and you're not there, we're not coming back. We have to respect process. But we wanted to go further than that. So we went to, let's make it, we're just people talking on the phone. We're working on a project together. And how do we get this done? And by doing that, we have found that there's a much stronger relationship building, and it's been just really great. So that's how we do the intake. So, and then we do deliver, which is also different from Partners for Housing, and actually different from most places in Southern Minnesota that help people get stuff for their new homes. So we bring things to them, or they can come and pick them up. And we do ask that they, unless they are physically not able, and their children, and if they can pull in any friends, help with the move. And I'm the old lady who says, how old are you, little kid? And they say 10. And I go, well, then you're plenty old enough to help move pillows. And so get your shoes on. So I'm that person. And we just try to collaborate. So that's how the process works. We will only come back to the referral source if there is a problem getting the client to engage, or if the client has done something that really does risk them being able to be helped. We've had people just fall off. Like Kata referred somebody and they quit responding and they didn't follow through on their move. And so I contacted Kata. Well, here they had been found, I think, by their abuser and had lost their placement then. And so I just needed to hear that from Kata. And then, you know, the person came back into the cycle and we were able to help, rather than us saying, hey, you know, you left and weren't responsive. We can't work with that. So that's our partnership. Sometimes the referral source will help move things, and we welcome that also. So how it works and will ensure our sustainability. So 75, our business model, our working model is that 75 to 85% of our items have to come through donations. And we need to raise a minimum of $800 a month in cash donations. Our fixed costs per month right now are 500. It might have gone up to 600. We had to get more storage recently. Yeah, I think it's 550 to 600. And then we reserve about $150 a month to buy items that don't regularly get donated. And then the remainder of the money is going into our sustainability fund so that we have money for operating expenses. Our goal is to have a minimum of 6 months. And we actually want to go into growth mode and get at least 1 or 2 part-time employees. And so we're going to need a much larger fund ready to go. So how does it work and how do we make sure that we're going to be here forever? First of all, we need people to spread the word. We are getting known all the time. I just took in a donation yesterday and the woman said, I was at a restaurant. No, she was at a craft sale and she was talking to someone about needing to get rid of some of the overflow stuff in her garage. And a lady, very Minnesota-like, said, hey, I know where you can send it, or where you can take it. And they gave her our information and we got a bed and a couple of things from her yesterday. And I think she's going to be a volunteer. That's what we need, is for people to spread the word, to share our Facebook posts. We have a very robust Facebook presence. A community is thriving there, and we need people to share our posts. We love to spread the word by coming and talking to organizations or coming to churches and doing pulpit appeals. I'm happy to come and talk to churches. That's been very successful. You can volunteer. Our volunteers generally volunteer, unless you're Nathan, Kate's son, generally volunteer for 1.5 hours to 2 hours. And they only have to volunteer once. We're not going to make them volunteer, we're not going to bug them if they don't want to volunteer beyond that. And we have fun. That's the consistent message I get from our volunteers, is we just have a really good time and laugh a lot and feel good about what we're doing, but really just have a really good time. Keep an eye out whenever you can see opportunities, whether it's your friend is saying they're having a garage sale and maybe you could tell them they could donate stuff that doesn't sell, or they're putting something on Facebook Marketplace, or you hear of organizations that need new ways to serve. Whatever it is, just keep an eye and an ear out for us. Donate money. People can donate money at any denomination through our website or through GoFundMe, or they can send us money through the mail or just tell me and I'll stop on over and get it. Donate home furnishings. So, anything, we don't do decor yet. We'd like to get into decor, but right now we do home furnishings, and really it is anything kind of fundamental. I don't like to do air fryers, or air fryers scare me. Well, air fryers are fine. It's
Instant
oh,
Pot.
the Instant Pot scares me so bad. I don't even use mine at home. We try not to take those kind of things, but crock pots are a huge deal. Number one thing we're asked for are crock pots. We'll take, so that kind of outside the mainstream because so many people use those, but really anything kind of fundamental that you need in your house to make life work. We just took in some tools, plungers. Oddly enough, if you can find a great deal on new plungers, we would take those. People actually ask for them and we don't have them. So really any of that stuff, as long as it's lightly used. If you do want to give new items, I didn't put this on here, but we still try to give out pajamas and underwear, socks and slippers, and they have to be new. So if you happen to be somebody who does retail therapy and you find some good deals on those, we love that. Tell other organizations about us. So, just really whenever you can think about organizations that we may work well with, that may want to learn more about us or help. We love to talk to those organizations. And then the last one is encourage collaboration. I've ruffled a few feathers along the way because I really have no ego in this process. If I didn't envision an off-ramp for myself from this little project I started. But I don't care if what it ultimately means is we find a great way to blend a couple organizations and I don't have a place in it. I'll live with that as long as the people are being served. But what is really super important to me is that we encourage collaboration amongst organizations. We leverage our resources as much as possible. And we realize there's room for all of us to get the job done. So let's put down the barriers and really work together. So whenever you can encourage collaboration, we really appreciate it. And then I put in a few stats here, which I've talked to you about most of them along the way. Yeah, I think we're closer to like 160 in families served, or 170 right now. That just it's continuing to grow. So yeah, that's the information. You guys have any questions?
I have a couple more questions. So, did you say that if people are in need of things that they can just self-ask, or are you asking agencies to really refer?
Yeah, refer. Mm-hmm.
So what if they don't? What if I'm not referring, but my client is asking because they find out about it from some other place?
Then I
Yeah.
tell them, are you working with any agencies, the county? Do you have a county social worker, somebody through District 77, anyone that you're working with that is aware of your situation? So really the criteria is they have to have been homeless within the last like 3 months, and they have to be referred by an organization that is helping them in some other way.
So, for example, I have a client who has been on county assistance for a long time. They have maintained their housing for a while, and they've never had table and chairs for a whole 6 months. Would you help them if they still need that, even though they're housed?
Technically, no. They don't fall within our demographic that we help. But if you were to call me and say I could have a truck at storage and pick up a table and chairs to give to my clients, I would probably be at storage and meet you there so that you can get that done. But no, not technically. But I don't like anybody not having a table and chair. So if we can make it happen, I'll try.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no, my client was not, they just were on county assistance. She got a job and she just hasn't been able to afford that. And so.
No, I get that.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to work because, technically, we really should stick with our demographic, right? It's one of my weaknesses as a leader is I don't always stick with the rules, but I am trying to work up relationships with the thrift stores to see if we can't do it, can we get them a deep discount or a gift certificate that maybe one of our donors will supplement and pay for. So I'm always going to try to figure something out.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I had.
Anyone
So
else?
Amy, if
Mhm.
I do a referral for someone, we get it submitted this week. Reasonably, when would they get some of their items?
Yeah, it all depends on our volunteer pool. So during grad season, we had no volunteer pool, so there was quite a long wait. But it depends on our volunteer pool. We do try to keep our moves to twice a month on the first Saturday after the 1st and the Saturday that comes right after the 15th of each month. So we're doing moves this Saturday. If you happen to register right before a move day, then the person most likely will get their stuff that move day, or at least part of it. If we are finding that we're getting backed up and I have the volunteers, then during our donor drop-off times of Tuesdays and Thursdays, we will try to fit in a move. So like tomorrow night, I think we're doing 1 or 2 moves during that donor time. So really there's no straight answer. I would say they're going to get at least their small items within, 5 days. Sometimes the same day. And the variables to make that faster are when they hit in the month, when they register, if they can come and pick things up. That I can get you the same day. I can get them served if somebody can come and get the stuff. Usually I can do the same day. So it's a bunch of factors, but we try to get something to them within 5 days or less.
Okay. But depending upon the time period, it could be 2 weeks before you have a volunteer scheduled on the weekend again.
Yeah, it could, but I don't know when I have ever let it go that long because it just bugs me to think
Okay.
that I don't have something. So I'll usually try to find somebody who will help me get it over there. I'll try to get creative.
Okay.
But yes, could be up to 2 weeks. We are starting to build relationships with Sentence to Serve, with Mankato Movers. I think two men in a truck. 2 men in a truck. We're going to start trying to build a relationship with. So we're hoping that we're going to have more people that can help even when I don't have regular volunteers. Oh, one other way that people can help, going back to this, I don't know where it is. Going back to how you can help. So one of the ways you can volunteer is if you would pick something up and bring it. So a person can, like I have one guy, he has a short bed, small truck. He can only fit 1 or 2 things in there, but he doesn't work. So he's willing to go and grab stuff. Or I have one family who lives in Janesville. So sometimes if you live further out and you commute to Mankato, we have somebody who works in St. Peter and lives in Mankato. If you can occasionally pick up from another town and bring it in, or just meet us at another town, like you work in St. Peter and we're going to be delivering in St. Peter and you can come and help us for 20 minutes to unload, that we have those opportunities too. So some of those geographic opportunities if people travel between cities.
I have a question actually about, so earlier you were talking about how like your clients have to come through via like referral agencies. So how does an agency become a referral source for you? And you may have touched up on that earlier.
That's okay. You just contact me and say, I'd like to refer somebody.
Okay.
Really?
Mm.
That's it. As long as you're serving the same people we're serving or want to serve, that's all it requires.
Okay.
And I can share the contact details afterwards in the email I usually send out after this networking meeting. And then Amy, I feel like there was an email that went out too with like the application or something. Can I share that? Is that still
Yes.
like accurate? Okay, I can
That's
attach
also
that
accurate.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it has all the links,
Perfect.
the different ways that people can start to engage with us. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm selling these dogs. And our Facebook page is really the place to get the most information. That's where you're going to get heartwarming stories. You're going to get data. You're going to get what's coming up, what our needs are. We regularly put our need list up there, and you can share that with people. That's all available right there.
I have a question about like homeless definition. Like if I have a client who's doubled up or they're staying with a family member, but they're not in a shelter, does that qualify? Like they've been on wait lists for housing, they just haven't found a house yet. Okay, perfect.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you talked earlier about building relationships. Do you have any relationships with like furniture companies? So when they deliver a new couch or a new bed, then they contact you or they drop off the old couch and old bed at your location?
Yep, we're working on that right now. So we just got contacted by Rooms and Rest. That's happening. And I also talked with Johnson Furniture this week. And that's happening. I'm working on doing a combined marketing campaign and referral program with Mankato Movers, Southern Minnesota Junk Removal, Caring Transitions, which helps people go into nursing homes, et cetera, and then a fresh start, so that we will cross market and cross refer, and also those organizations deliver to us. So Caring Transitions brings things to us. All three of them bring things to us. And so we're just going into figuring all that out and getting the marketing out.
Fantastic.
It's been on the to-do list for a while. Yeah. We're also looking for an intern. If you know somebody who wants to get into social work or wants, even if it's a high school student who just wants to learn what it's like to help people. We're looking for interns. We will be talking to Mankato State to try to get a couple interns from up there. And I try to focus intern time either in the donation hours or on Wednesday afternoons at my office.
Have you connected with our young adult career development program yet?
No.
So that would be a good contact you and I can connect about, but we do paid work experiences. So we pay wages and workers' comp, and then community businesses who need youth take them as a work experience, but like we pay their wages and you provide the supervision. So I can get you in touch with Sarah. I don't know, what youth she'd have that would be interested, but for sure, I'm sure you'd, amount to a couple of them, over time for sure. So
knock down your door until I get them. Yeah. Because one of the nice things about volunteering for us or doing that kind of program with us, well, a couple things. One, if you are somebody who doesn't really want to get into admin work or doing that kind of stuff, you can be someone who helps at the storage unit and can do upcycling and can do, hands-on work. If you are somebody who has an interest in the admin side or is a creative or an organizer or whatever, we can have you do admin work. And I have a lot of success working with teens and young adults and being able to provide, I think, mentorship and as well as supervision and kind of growth opportunities. So
that is perfect. That sounds exactly what we look for in a work site. So I will connect you with Sarah, the coordinator. And then I had one other question. Maybe you already said this, but do you primarily serve families in Mankato? Is it Blue Earth County? Like what service area for these referrals, just to clarify?
So this is another place where I don't do very well with rules. So we try to help everywhere. But if like I had one in Gaylord recently and I just couldn't get there fast enough. And then she found the stuff on her own. But we've gone to Fairmont, we've gone to Janesville. I have people in Owatonna I can utilize. We've gone to lease sewer. So I don't really have a geographic limitation. What helps us to help people further out is if the referral organization can help us get the stuff to them. Or if it happens to be a time when I have a lot of volunteers who are willing to travel there, or if there's volunteers in that town who will help us unload. Because if I can get people to help me load in Mankato, I'm willing to drive by myself and get there if there are people there to help me unload. So we'll go anywhere in southern Minnesota. We'd love to get partnerships with some towns where they actually would give us stipends for gas and help us coordinate some volunteers on the other side. We tried to do that with Lee Sewer when we were helping a lot in Lee Sewer, and they just weren't overly motivated to make that happen, I think, at the time. But we'll probably do a more concerted effort if we're starting to get repeat requests for certain locations.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I just clarified because we serve 9 counties, and even though we do this networking meeting for primarily Blue Earth Nicollet, like anytime we can get resources for all of our service areas, we just like to clarify that. So
yeah. And actually, if they're, I'm sorry, and then I'll let you go.
No, you're good.
If you have a location who says, yeah, we have these needs, and they also know that there is a volunteer organization in that town or some organization that is doing part of what we do, we would be happy to partner with them and have, either just partner and they help with portions of delivery, or actually having it be a satellite and we can do more concerted outreach in that area and be more of a consistent resource. I think we would be open to that if they can give us some people on the other side.
Awesome. Well, does anyone else have other questions? Sorry, I was very interested as well. So I think all of us had some great questions, and no worries at all. But anyone else have final questions before we move into like roundtable?
I just wanted to say something. I was at a meeting a month or 2 ago, and the Boy Scouts are doing some huge concerted effort of 1 year of volunteerism. So Amy, have you heard anything about that?
I haven't.
I don't know when it was starting, but it was going to be a huge push on volunteering, and especially the youth that are old enough to be Boy Scouts. I would think many of them would have the ability to move furniture.
Yeah, I will. Does anybody know anybody on the Girl Scout side?
No.
Right. I know a couple of the people in Boy Scouts, so I just pulled up one of their cell phone numbers. I'll reach out right now, but that's great.
Yeah. And then
Thank you.
Amy, I need you to send me information on that meeting next week.
I know. I'm gonna do that. So Kate's gonna join our board, I think. I'm hoping.
Well, I have to be vetted, so we'll see if they want me.
Yeah, that was gonna be tough.
Yep.
I'll see if you make it through. But yes, I will send you that today.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for what you do, and thanks for being interested in hearing more.
A
Yeah.
quick question.
Yep.
So how often can one take advantage of the program? Let's just say they, in the first month of having been homeless, they request some items and something isn't available. Can they request that in their 3rd month, for example, or if they go homeless again for some reason? Is there like a limitation?
Yeah. So first of all, if they are asking for stuff while they're in shelter or while they are homeless, we will help as often as they need. If they received home furnishings, we're going to work with you to find out if you think if that makes sense, that they should get more stuff. We're just going to work with you on that. I think we had one CADA referral. I think we were on our 3rd time in probably 12 months that she was asking, and we had to have a really serious conversation about resources at that point, but we talked to the referral source. So yes, we will help them. We may adjust how much we give them until they're really settled, but yeah, they can come back and ask. Yeah. Okay. Were you saying for people who are in shelter or people who are already in their homes?
Probably already in their homes. Because if they're in a shelter, they're probably not going to be asking for anything that you don't have necessarily.
Right. Yeah. So
Right?
No, you go
I have
ahead.
I have a second question unless you were gonna.
Oh, no, I
comment
was
on-
gonna just say, we do have something that I need to bring up with the board. My board is, we have had a couple instances of clients who kind of treated us as a constant source. And so, like, for example, one had just bought a brand new TV, but they wanted us to give them a recliner. Well, we start to get into the point of, are you using us as a resource appropriately? And so, we're gonna have to have those kind of conversations. But, I also got, actually, I think it's from the building that burnt down on Foul Street. We also had somebody in that one that they didn't think they were gonna make it in housing because money was just too tight and they needed a chair. Well, that to me says something different. So it's gonna be case by case, but we tend towards helping.
Yeah.
And one more thing related to that before you ask your question. One of my goals is to get to a point where we can actually provide, and there's lots of logistics that would have to be worked out, but we can actually provide storage for people who maybe have stuff, but they may not be able to maintain their housing for a little while. We would store it for free. That's a goal of mine. I want to break the cycle wherever we can, but there's a lot of logistics we'd have to work on there.
That brings me to that second question, actually. We've had clients that are moving or maybe, like you said, going to be homeless, and they just need to get rid of things, big things.
Mhm.
How would that look as far as perhaps picking those things up for a fresh start? Would someone go out there and like determine whether or not the things are worth keeping?
Yeah, we would ask them to send us pictures of what they want to donate. And then we can decide from there.
Okay.
And I think it would be worth a conversation if they have stuff they want to keep. I think it would be worth a conversation with us of, can we work on a project together for us to find a place to keep that stuff until they find a home again? I would love for that conversation to happen and we test things out. And I think I would be able to find donors who would want to pay to house those things rather than people coming back out with nothing again.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions?
I guess I have one more. Volunteering. Occasionally we might have someone needing to volunteer for a number of hours per week, just due to the requirements of our MFIT program. Would a fresh start be an option for them? Because I mean, it could be required to work up to 20 hours a week, or it maybe, they would have a number of different volunteer sites, because it doesn't sound like you wouldn't need necessarily 20 hours a week from one person.
Well, it depends on the skill set.
Sure.
Yeah, we could do that. It depends on their skill set and how much they can work independently. So let's say they don't have administrative skill sets. I can put them on a project of upcycling some furniture and painting, but I can't sit there and watch them paint. So it may be that if they can work on their own, that we could do something like that. So yeah, I'd be happy to talk about that. Yeah. If they have administrative skill sets, I'm all over that. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys one more thing. We're never going to get off the phone. I wanted to tell you, this is related, but not related. I do consulting and coaching, and I do have in July, I have a 4-part series called Maximizing Your Impact, and it's for nonprofits. It can be churches, it can be one-person nonprofits, it can be broader than that. And it works on helping people to develop their brand, how to advance their mission and their brand, how to be a good leader, how to fundraise, and how to develop strong teams of paid and unpaid people. And so I just wanted to tell you guys that exists. And if you have any interest in sharing that information or knowing about it yourself, you can use the email that you're going to get from Emily and reach out to me. It's low cost and it's here in Mankato. And I've been doing it already in Owatonna and it's got great reviews. So we'd love to share that. We did
Awesome.
20 minutes and we did 52.
Yeah, no, that's all good. It was great information, and I think it just kind of shows how much it's needed in our communities that we're like, tell me more. So no, I appreciate your time. And
Guys.
I will certainly connect with you with those contacts I mentioned. I'll share this information with the group afterwards, along with the recording once it downloads, and all of that fun stuff. But does anybody have any agency updates before we get going here? Amy, you're welcome to stay if you want to hear about, other agencies.
Sure. I'll stay on for a while, then I have to rush, but
Okay. One of the things I wanted to let you know is that the Blue Earth County Homeless Response Team is doing a Mankato Transit tour at our July meeting. And that is going to be on Tuesday, July 25th. You might have gotten an email about a transit meeting that's happening otherwise, where you can tour the transit building. And so this is different. And so you could certainly do either one or both. But the Blue Earth County Homeless Response Team is Tuesday, July 25th from 8:30 until 10 a.m. And we're meeting at the Intergovernmental Center downtown, so right across from the Civic Center. We'll hop on the bus right at 8:30. We'll drive around town. They'll stop at a few bus stops. We'll talk along the way about, anything like, can you get picked up anywhere or does it have to be a formal bus stop? I think one person brought up to me that they were told they could only bring a certain number of grocery bags on the bus. So we've got all kinds of questions like that. And, how young can someone be to ride by themselves? At what age do children have to start paying for rides? So we've kind of created a list already of things that we know we want to ask about. So we'd love to have you join us. And then, let's see. I think there's no updates with the crisis nursery. Things are pretty much the same there. If any of you would like to meet Patrick Clark, he is the mental health navigator for District 77. It's a pilot program, and I believe he's working at a few elementary or junior high schools, helping with mental health navigation. He's going to be the speaker at our June 27th Blue Earth County HRT meeting. And if you sent me an email, I could either give you directions to the location or I could provide you with the link, because the meeting in June's hybrid, the July meeting with the transit tour, that one is in person only.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then did everyone hear about the new bus service that's catering to children in the Mankato area? It was in the Sunday paper. And so the service called Cato Go Play is free for youth and high school students. And they can call to schedule a ride like 24 hours in advance. And then they go to certain places, like the Y, Children's Museum, Library, Pinnaker, Turtleot, Wings Over White Oak, Sibley Park, a couple of the schools, My Place, etc. And I can try to access the online link and forward that to you if you want me to.
Yeah, that would be great.
Kate, is that just a summer service, or that will that be year round? Do you know?
Uh,
I think it's just for the summer while the school's out.
yeah, well, it's based on pilot project results, provides next day service. Yeah, I read through it this morning quickly, but I can forward the link and the information. And then if adults want to ride along, then it talks about what the adult fares are.
Yeah.
I can go next if nobody else wants it. My name's Paige. I'm with Vine, and for those of you who don't know what Vine is, we have kind of a couple of different tiers. We have our Live Well at Home services, where we provide meals, meal delivery. We do volunteer visits for isolated older adults. We provide transportation with volunteer drivers for older adults, seasonal household chores, help, support groups, caregiving coaching, mental health care for older adults, and some diversity programming for elders. And then we also have the Vine Adult Community Center, which has a fitness center, pool, walking track, game room, a bunch of educational presentations, and exercise classes that are all geared towards older adults. We also have True Transit, which is the public transportation program for Blue Earth, Nicollet, and LeSueur counties. We are going to be offering some free rides coming up to the Blue Earth, Nicollet, and LeSueur County fairs. So we'll be offering free rides to the Blue Earth County Fair on July 20th, free rides to the Nicollet County Fair on August 11th, and free rides to the LeSueur County Fair on August 18th. We do require reservations for those. The way our public transportation program works is that we actually pick people up at their door. So we don't have public bus stops that we stop at on scheduled times. It's all dial-a-ride service. So we make our routes the day before the rides are coming through. So if people are interested in taking advantage of any of those, they can go to truetransit.org to learn more and to schedule their ride, or they can just give us a call. At the Vine Adult Community Center, we have a couple of free opportunities that are free and open to the public. So we're partnering with Hy-Vee to offer free omega-3 testing. And that's going to be on June 20th between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. So people can schedule an appointment, or walk-ins are welcome as well. We also have, we're partnering with Mankato Clinic to offer free strength assessments on July 28th between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. And again, people can either make appointments online at vinevolunteers.org, or they can just come in and do a walk-in. We're always looking for more volunteers to help serve older adults in the community. We have a variety of different volunteer opportunities. Our next volunteer orientation is coming up on July 11th at 11 a.m. So it's about an hour long. And another big event that we're working on right now is the second annual Love Your Age 55 Plus Expo. This year, we are going to be holding it down at the Civic Center. It's going to be on September 19th from 1 to 4 p.m. If anybody's interested in getting a booth or learning more or sponsoring or just attending, you can visit vinevolunteers.org or contact me for more information. Any questions?
Do you have any kind of flyer or written blurb that I can send out to my crisis nursery families about the free rides to the county fairs?
I can send you a link to the website where it's got the information, if that'd be helpful.
Yeah, and then the link to the, I know you didn't call it a senior expo, but that's what
everyone hears. Yep.
Yep. So yeah, if you could send that, and also the link to the volunteer training. My husband's retiring in 2 weeks.
We'll take them. We'll keep them busy, Kate.
Oh, so yeah, if you can send me those links, that would be fantastic.
I will do that. I can send it to the whole group if everybody would like them to.
Yeah, if you send them to me, I can include them in my email. I kind of jotted down the dates. I hope I got them right, but I'll check the website before I send them out. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other updates?
Well, it would be bad if I didn't share with everyone that I'm Katie. I'm with Minnesota Valley Action Council with the Head Start program, and we are still accepting applications. We're still actively looking for children in the Mankato, like the greater Mankato area. So Mankato, North Mankato, Eagle Lake, St. Clair, Madison Lake, kind of that bigger, broader space. And if anyone knows of a family who might have children who will not be old enough for kindergarten, that's really the only hard and fast absolute, is they have to be less than 5 years old on September 1st. There's some income guidelines as well. That doesn't necessarily exclude folks. It just kind of plays into how quickly they might get a placement. So I think that's really all I have. I can send you my summer contact information, Emily, because I'm up at the Big Tree Drive office for a while. And then our classroom location is actually moving. So all of my stuff is different.
Okay, that sounds good. If you want to send me an email, I'll try to compile this and hopefully get it all sent out either today or tomorrow. I'll compile everything. So yeah.
And then I don't know if anyone else has already spoken on this, maybe you, Emily, or someone else from MVAC, but our agency is actually putting together a community partner sort of newsletter that we're trying out and sending each month to other agencies. That just kind of is a summary of all of the programs that we have and kind of updates from those programs that you can get via email. And maybe Emily, if you would be okay sending that link out to how to sign up for that in the group follow-up email that comes through. I've learned things from reading it and I work here, so I'm sure that other people might find interesting things that they didn't know exactly what those programs were or who they might benefit. So I think that would be worth sharing as well.
Yeah, I can certainly add that.
Is there just one newsletter type thing? There's not one for clients, the families that use your services and professionals, or is there just one?
As far as, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, I think as far as I know, it's intended to be for like other community partners, because it talks a little bit about how to qualify and how to refer and things like that. I don't believe at this time it's necessarily intended for potential clients. I do have a whole series of those newsletters I was sending out to families and children on our wait list. And it's been a whole program year now, so I have them all. I could just send you a set of them if you wanted to toss one out with each month. They are fixing the roof or something here. I keep thinking it's going to fall on my head.
Yeah. No, they're replacing the roof. I think they started that, right? So,
I think so. It's really loud.
Yeah. Hopefully we have no more roof leaks after. So sorry, Katie. I'm staying away from that office.
And Katie, you don't need to send me like the whole year's worth. I think once or twice when you sent it out to your families, you included me. And that's about how much time I have to read, is maybe like one a month when you send them.
Okay.
I know I wouldn't go back and look through all of them if you sent me all at once.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is intended for partners, but I don't think there's any, I guess I'd have to look over them again, but I don't think there's anything that a client shouldn't have access to per se. Like it's all about like how to qualify or who has openings and how the programs work, deadlines, stuff like that. So it's not necessarily geared exactly towards clients, but I think it's for anybody who needs the information or, information on our programs and whatnot. So, let's see. Okay, and you include it with your job. It looks like Daniel said he includes it with his like newsletters to his clients. So yeah, I think it really just talks about our services. The intent was agencies were asking questions about like updates and stuff. So we just had started that. And then we have an internal newsletter too that isn't shared, but this one would be shared with public or with the partners that we work with. So yeah. Since I'm talking, I guess I can kind of chat. If you have referrals for people that are long-term unemployed or receiving unemployment, laid off, need training, we do have funding with our adult dislocated worker programs. People can attend, interested individuals can attend an info session with Career Force for enrollment. We do serve all 9 counties for those programs. So we're always taking referrals for those, and we can help with up to 2 years of training. energy assistance program has ended. So the next program year will start again this fall. What else for updates? Lip Sync will be coming up. Our annual agency fundraiser is Friday, September 29th at 7 p.m. If you haven't heard of it or plan on attending or being, one of the teams. I think they got all their teams secured already, actually, but if you want to donate or attend, that is again Friday, September 29th at 7 p.m. And I can put that in the follow-up email, as well as our next quarterly networking meeting is Wednesday, September 13th at 1 p.m. I don't have a speaker yet, so I will be reaching out to some individuals, but if you know of agencies that would like to speak or that you'd like information on, I can certainly reach out. I know care counseling was one I was going to maybe reach out to. So, but always looking for recommendations. So any other updates? Otherwise, I see we kind of went over our time slot here. But if you have other updates, you can always send them to me as well. Otherwise, you guys can have a great rest of your month, and I'll see you guys next quarter.
All right, thank you.
Perfect. Have a great day. Take care, and I will work on compiling this. Bye-bye.